I'm Camilla.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And welcome to You're Gonna Be Fine, the podcast that reminds you that wherever you are in your journey, you're exactly where you need to be.
In each episode, we'll explore tools, tips, theories, and stories that will help you learn, heal, and grow. And remember that even on the tough days, you're gonna be fine.
Whether you're navigating life's big changes, trying to build healthier habits, or just looking for a little inspiration, the show is here to remind you that you've got everything you need within you.
So wherever you are, take a deep breath, relax, and remember, you're gonna be fine.
Just a quick heads up, we're not certified therapists or doctors, just regular gals sharing insights and tips from our own personal experience.
So if you're dealing with something serious, please reach out to a professional because at the end of the day, they are the experts, not us. With that being said, enjoy the episode.
So, Katie, here we bloody are. This has literally been on our list to do for ages, hasn't it?
2 years?
2 years and counting.
Yeah,
yes.
2 years. It's crazy. I feel like when we came in before, I was like, this feels like a dream.
Yeah,
like
it does.
It's bizarre.
I'm so glad that we're here. So I think, first and foremost, good for us to, obviously we've said our intro, but good to just give us a background as to like who you are, how we know each other, and like what your like speciality is.
My speciality.
Yes.
Why have we called it You're Gonna Be Fine? I feel like that needs to be addressed as well.
100%.
Because that is...
yeah.
Can we tell the truth and say we found it on ChatGPT?
Yes, and it was the first name that we saw. We were basically just brainstorming.
It's so hard to name a podcast.
It really is.
I think we knew we wanted it to be self-development.
Yeah.
And we'll get onto that when we're sort of, giving our backgrounds and stuff and why it was important to us that we wanted to do a self-development podcast. But finding a name is so hard. Some of them were so...
crap. Yeah.
Just cringe, weren't
yeah.
they? Like,
but I'm
terrible.
pretty sure, because I typed in, sorry, clumsy. I typed in on ChatGPT, it was like, come up with a podcast name that, encompasses all that we wanted to encompass. And I'm pretty sure it was the first one though. We were we looked at each other and we were like,
that's the one.
That's it. I felt something. I was like, oh my God, like this is the name because I could just see it.
Yeah.
And like, here we are. These mic covers, good Lord. They've
Albert's
been
finest.
Main character energy. I've literally been stalking this man called Albert on eBay for months because he's so slow getting back to me. I'm like, hey Albert, I'm literally flirting. Like I put more kisses in desperation. So I'm like, it's getting really close to the pod now and they just make it look fab. If you're not actually watching this, just believe me that they're fabulous.
Yeah, no, they are stunning. If you're just listening, watch it just for the mic covers.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Purely for that.
Definitely.
And Katie's makeup because she looks stun.
Thanks.
So yeah, I feel like that's the podcast, why we named it that, why we're here, why we're delivering this to you.
Now tell me about yourself.
Introduce yourself. No way. Introduce yourself. Okay.
Well, I feel like only millennials will get that.
Yeah, nobody else will. They're just like, who are these weird, overexcited freaks? So I'm Camilla Ainsworth. My background is business, sprinkle of self-development, sprinkle of just self-exploration, really. And I'm a massive bookworm. So I absolutely love sharing wisdom from books that I've read. And yeah, my background is quite eclectic, really, because I was on The Apprentice back in 2K18.
Wow.
Yes, I know, quite irrelevant. However, it's on the TV at the minute, so it makes me slightly more relevant.
Nice. Every year it comes around, you get to refresh yourself.
Exactly.
You're always on the radio. But to be fair, that's a testament to you because 2018 was... Oh my God, quick math. I'm so bad at math.
How long ago? 7 years.
19,
yeah.
Okay, I was going to have to count on my 2 hands there. Okay, so 7 years ago, for you to still be like, you're still getting invited onto the radio and things like that to talk about The Apprentice. No one else is from 7 years ago. Respectfully.
Very true. I think that's
because you are.
Nobody else greeted the interviewer by saying you, which is testament to the fact that personality always prevails, honey. It's personal brand. So yeah, that's kind of my background and what I'll be injecting into this podcast series. What about you, honey?
That. This feels really funny because obviously we're probably important to say that we're like very, very good friends as well.
Come on, give me a better title than very, very good friends.
No, it's because sometimes the word best friend cringes me a bit.
I'm out here calling my best friend. I even said on LinkedIn that you were my best friend.
Did you put me on LinkedIn?
Yes, you didn't comment, you didn't like, you didn't.
Oh my God.
Never mind. It's not like it's bothered me. It's not like it's been on my mind since.
No, I haven't been on LinkedIn for ages because... Remember, I think it was about a year ago that when I started Your Sober Glow, which I'll get onto in a moment, but when I started Your Sober Glow, I thought that LinkedIn would be like it for me in terms of getting clients and members and stuff like that into my business. And then I was on LinkedIn and I posted a picture of myself. Remember when we went to Sexy Fish in Manchester for dinner for my birthday? And you took that picture of me. And basically mocktail menu in that restaurant is amazing. And so I did a post about like alcohol-free mocktail menu, whatever. And I didn't actually take a picture of the mocktail on the night, so it was just a picture of me. So I just posted the picture of me because pictures get more engagement,
100%.
obviously. And I got trolled to high heaven by this man being like, yeah, a picture of the cocktails would have been nice. Like, how am I supposed to judge the quality of the mocktail if it's just a picture of you?
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God. And all these people were liking it. And I was like, what? I was like, savage. So anyway, then I got like, it's true, because it got loads of views and I got loads of followers, but they were all middle-aged men.
You don't want
which
that.
is not my market, not my audience.
Hard.
I'm a girl's girl. I'm here for the girls. So it wasn't like that, like lucrative for me, I would say, LinkedIn. So that's basically why I'm telling you that, is because that's why I've not replied to you, because I've not been on LinkedIn for an age.
I forgive you.
It's not personal.
That's fine. It's fine. I'm making a big LinkedIn push at the moment, but I am noticing, it's absolutely peppered. It's a sausage fest on LinkedIn. It is. Like, it's full.
And they're angry.
Yeah.
They're really angry.
Yeah, they
and like
are.
for a professional platform, you'd think that people would have a bit more decorum.
Absolutely.
But I feel like there's quite a bit of trolling on there. Anyway,
Yeah.
I've touched on the alcohol-free thing there. I've given a bit of a hint away to my background and story. But yeah, basically, when I was 24, I stopped drinking. So I'm over 5 years sober now, which is insane. Thank you.
Insert friends canned laughter. Not laughter, God, clapping. Shit. Why does everyone laugh? Everyone start laughing at her because she's sober. And then insert clapping. And oh my God, imagine friends canned laughter.
Boring.
Yeah.
Insert boring.
Well, someone did say that to you though, didn't they? This just reminded me. Sorry to interrupt, but when you posted on TikTok, and someone posted on her video and said, "Oh great, I found the boring part of TikTok."
How have I found myself on the boring side of TikTok? And people were commenting with like loads of yawning emojis. And I was like, well, that's not as bad though.
Well, no one's yawning. I told people to laugh.
Well, yeah. No, the worst one I ever got was somebody commented on my post saying, so I can't decide if you're pretty or not. Sometimes you are, and then sometimes you look like this. And then they put ... Is this a man or a woman?
Oh God.
I was like,
honestly,
savage.
I cannot. Well, that reminds me of the time that someone on Twitter said to me, I'd launched an activewear range in lockdown. I was like, I wanted to be an opportunist. No one was doing anything but going to the gym and doing Courtney Black workouts.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd posted my activewear and I was like really proud of it, posted on Twitter, now X. And this woman, Rachel Whiteside,
You still remember her name?
276. Of course I can. I could have been like, I can't remember what she's called, but I remember her exact.
Put her in the burn book.
So anyway, she commented, she was like, activewear's looking great, Camilla, but be careful, you're starting to look like a Russian shot putter. And anyway, the optimist in me was like, perhaps that's a compliment. Quick Google confirmed that it wasn't. I was like, righty-ho, Rachel Whiteside, you're not on the Christmas card list forevermore. So yeah, that was, so basically, to summarise us, obviously Katie is absolutely fabulous in all that she does, but we are people that have been trolled in the past, but we're still fine.
We're fine. We live to tell the tale. You've got to laugh. Send them love anyway.
100%.
Isn't it? Like, I mean, to comment on somebody's post, whatever it is, and say anything negative, I just think, ew, get a life.
Yeah.
So I stopped drinking when I was 24, over 5 years sober now. And I feel like when I stopped drinking, I was so naive to the world of self-development. I'd read one self-development book, which was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mark Manson. Very good. But it's really funny because when I was drinking, actually, my dad is 35 years sober and is massively into self-development and spirituality and positive thinking and all that. And when I was being a nightmare, he used to buy me books like not the art of positive thinking. I'm mixing those things together. Like positive thinking or like PMA and all this. And I was like, like at the time I just didn't really get why he was buying it. Because when you're feeling really negative, your self-awareness is 0 out of 10. You don't realise the way that you are, especially when you're young. I feel like I was like 18 at the time. You're
using the books as coasters, basically.
Yeah, literally gathering dust on the shelf. And then when I got sober, I was like, oh, I see what he was doing now.
Yeah.
He was like subliminally like trying to be like, you are really negative and you need to sort go on this journey.
That.
So I feel like stopping drinking was just the key that unlocked my self-development journey, and it's been rough as toast at times. I saw this meme actually the other day. It was like, if they called self-development what it really was, nobody would do it because it's so savage at times.
So,
So
you know
bad.
what? The PR team for self-development needs a raise because it makes it sound really glitz and glam, but really,
it's the trenches.
We've both been in the trenches. Good Lord. Like, I think my self-development journey began properly. Like, I was reading books because I've always liked to read, and my dad's like the same as yours in that he's very positive. Like, he is just a human encyclopedia. He's read every single book, and I've had that growing up. But I used to, like, when I was younger, kind of, I'd just be a human sponge and not read the books, but just listen to what he was saying.
Yeah.
Whereas I think I hit 24, 25, and that's when I really started to think to myself, right, you know, if I actually start to read and absorb all these books, like even if you get 10% out of a book, imagine you're reading 10 books, you've got 100% more of perspectives from varying authors. And I just feel like 24, 25 was a really pivotal time for me. I'd been laying the foundation before that, but I really came into my own like then.
Yeah.
So it really relatively new on the self-development journey. And that's something that's so key to remind people that it starts for everyone at a different moment, which I think is nice.
Do you think for you there was a moment that you were like, oh, something's happened here. I feel like I need to, because obviously for me, mine was, I stopped drinking, and that's very clear. And that's very, like, I'm not unique. A lot of people that do stop drinking, it then springboards them into self-development. But what was your moment, if there was one?
Yeah, I think probably it was around that age because I'd come out of a really long relationship that I'd been in since I was about 18. And I feel like you starting to know who you are separate to that person.
Yeah.
And, you know, you grow up with someone, and I was doing self-development. I'd always loved like writing goals, all of that stuff. But I feel like I just was like half-arsing it. And I don't like to half-arse anything. Always full-arse everything,
Yes,
girlies.
full-arse,
Girlies and boys, if there's anyone listening. So yeah, I think that was a big thing for me where I just like, you know, went full in on self-development. I booked a juice retreat with Jason Vale, booked it on the Friday, flew out on the Saturday on my own. This juice retreat, absolutely starving for a week.
He's sober actually, Jason Vale.
Is he? Yeah, that would make sense.
He wrote a book on sobriety.
He is so inspiring. What he's created is really special. But that really like just turbocharged my self-development journey because like just going solo somewhere, like I've always been quite independent, but I really was catapulted into independence on that trip. Absolutely starving for 7 days. Wind blew me on day 3 to a petrol station 40 minutes away for a Mars bar and a chocolate milkshake. I was like, I can't do this. But what I learned about myself, still to this day, I thank that experience for just making me go all in on self-development. And since then, I've not looked back because I just feel like there's just so much that I learned from just being in that uncomfortable situation, you know?
Yeah, because I feel like as well, when you do things like that and get out of your comfort zone, you don't know who you're going to meet. And sometimes, it's the books you read and the podcasts you listen to.
Yeah.
Plug, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But it's the people that you meet. And when you put yourselves in those situations. I watched, yesterday, have you ever watched Yes Man?
Oh my God,
Jim
it came
Carrey
up
film.
on Netflix.
Yeah, same, but I watched it.
That is me in human form. I think I am that. I'm always like, yes, like they're intentional yeses, but I did see a lot of myself in him.
Yeah, but I thought it's such a, like obviously the message behind it is say yes because you never know what opportunity is going to come around, but then also no, this is so like self-development. It probably isn't the message of the film, but I look at it from a self-development view. I'm like, Jim Carrey is trying to portray that if you say yes to everything, then you have more opportunities. But also knowing when to say no to things is really important. Like setting the boundary. I know boundary is such a like hot word at the minute, but learning to set those boundaries and what's okay for you and what's not has been huge for me on my self-development journey. I was such a people pleaser. That's a massive trait of big drinkers, actually. So I was a massive people pleaser, and I would just say, like, I would say yes to everything to the point where it was having a negative effect on me, though. And then what I would do is overpack my schedule because I'd feel so bad. I'd say yes to everyone, and then cancel last minute. And then I was known as like the flake. For, like,
no one wants the
and I'm not a
Cadbury's
flake,
flake.
am I?
No,
I am not a flake.
No.
So I think that's important. Sort of skill to learn, isn't it?
Yeah, like that point that you just made, and also the people. Like I want to touch back on that, because it gave me such perspective when I was at the juice retreat, feeling sorry for myself because of a failed relationship And I was like, like having a bit of a moan, whatever. And then there was people around me, the shit they had gone through.
Yeah.
It made my problems seem trivial. One woman had been stood up at the altar by the love of her life. Another one, her husband had died 2 weeks before, and she'd taken herself to the juice retreat, because it's so much more than just a juice retreat. It's like a healing place.
Yeah.
And anyway, and they were like, oh, what's your, and I was embarrassed to actually say it out loud. And it goes back to that quote, like, oh, I've been dumped, or I've dumped, or I can't even remember whether I was the dumper or the dumpy. It's that irrelevant.
Yeah.
But it just reminds me of that quote that I really want listeners to remember and have in the forefront of your mind. It's, I cursed the fact I had no shoes until I saw the man who had no feet. And it's just like, zoom the fuck out. Like, your problems are minute in the grand scheme of things. And compared to someone else's problems, someone would just love to have
be
that.
in your
yeah,
situation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that just changed the game. The people that I was surrounded with were so inspiring, because it's a relatively expensive retreat as well. Like, at the time I was like broke, but I like just gathered together all the money that I had.
Sometimes you just know, though,
to be
you
able
just
to
know,
go.
like, there's something calling you to go.
Yeah.
I know I'm a bit woo-woo and like spiritual, but sometimes I do feel like you get that feeling, you get a pull to do something, and it's not your mind that's telling you to do it, it's your soul.
Yeah.
And you feel like, that is my calling, I must go. Doesn't money's irrelevant, I'll find a way.
I did.
And
I just
so
literally
that's
said yes,
amazing.
figured out how to do it later.
Yeah.
And the people that were there, honestly, awe-inspiring. Like, there was like some really, really like well-known people as well. And it wasn't like an influencer trip or anything like that. It was like normal. I was the youngest by about 20 years, which again, this is something funny about me, like a fun fact. I bloody love old people, don't I?
Yeah.
Like, I love old people. I'll be at a barbecue and like, it'll be like my
you
boyfriend.
Gravitate to the parent table.
Yeah, my boyfriend is younger than me, cougar. And when we go to like his friends' parties, like, I'm having a great time at the barbecue, but then the parents come home and I just make a beeline for the parents, and everyone just like laughs and like, that's her gone for the night. Because I'm like, the perspectives of older people, the wisdom, they've lived it,
Yeah, oh God,
I just love it.
Yeah.
Like,
I went out last night with my dad,
and
he is he 60? I think he's 62 now. And I was laughing to myself because we went into the restaurant. I was thinking, do they think that we're like a couple?
Yeah.
Like, because I
get
can't
this all the
imagine that.
time.
Yeah, like, and Dad was like laughing, and he was saying, I'm so grateful that you still want to come out with your old man,
I'm not ready for the Eric tales.
I know, honestly, it was so sweet. And I was like, of course, Dad. Like, and he's like, it's not just because I'm paying the bill, is it?
Well, that
I was
too.
like, well, that too. No, as if. Like, I just love his company, and my mum as well, obviously. Like, they're just absolute icons, and obviously you're the same with your parents. But not only are they hilarious, but they've been great teachers, and they've been through, all their own life experiences. And I'm like, teach me. Like, sometimes you see, like, older people might say about younger people, like, oh, they think they know it all. I was not like that when I was growing up. I knew nothing. Like, I was really, I wasn't that type of young person. And not that I'm old now, but you know what I mean? Like, when you're like in your teenage years. And I just soaked up everything they said. Like, but once I'd stopped drinking, very important to say. So obviously, before that, I was just like, wow.
I wonder if me and you would have got on when you were drinking. Like, what's your thought on that?
I don't know, actually, because we probably would have, because I was a binge drinker, so I only drank on a Friday, Saturday, and it would have been like out of control drinking. But in the week, I like still had a really good job, had all my friends, I had a boyfriend, I wasn't like a sort of, we probably would have still had things in common in terms of our energy towards life, because I was like full of life. But and drinking for me at first, it was fun, and I was outgoing and then confident and all those things that we still are now. But the problem was for me with drinking is that towards the end, certainly in the last 2 years, it was destroying my mental health. So I was extremely anxious, and I just knew it was holding me back. But I think, as I just said before, I was a lot more flaky, like I was a lot more like out of control, and I think I would have been more of a hard work friend. Like, I was quite, and actually when I look back at my friendships then, they were codependent, and we're not like that.
No.
I feel like we're very independent friends.
I do. We're not high maintenance.
Not at all.
It feels easy.
Very easy.
Even though you said I wasn't your best friend. You just said I was a very, very good friend. Okay. Not like it's still bothering me now. No problem.
An acquaintance.
No issues.
No, but do you not think that the phrase like, oh, she's my best friend? I just don't know. I just think like
it's a bit groovy chick, bang on the wall or bang on the door.
I don't know why. I don't know, because then sometimes I'm like, bestie. I don't know. It depends what mood I'm in. And obviously I'm in a miserable bitch mood right now because I've not called you my best friend. But
I know.
Sorry about that.
It's fine. I think I'm just like a little Labrador. I just like, it's fine. You kick me and I'll still like come back to you and lick you. It's fine.
What?
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but you know what I mean. I'm a Labrador friend. I'm like,
yeah.
But that actually is a good
segue.
segue.
I feel like I've come across as like the black cat friend.
no,
You're the Labrador friend and I'm the black cat.
Yeah, no, there has to be roles. Jokes. She's not the black cat friend. No, what would you be? You're very loyal. You're a spaniel. Excitable. Very loyal.
Loads of energy.
A bit clumsy.
Very clumsy.
Very clumsy.
Oh my God. Camilla lives in a
bungalow
and there is literally, there is one step in the house, right? No one has ever, except for me, fallen down this step.
In a bungalow.
And Camilla was in the kitchen and I don't even know where we were going. Anyway, and Camilla must have heard this like, do, do, do. And she was like, what's happened? I was on the floor like.
Honestly, I was like, how can we just address how you've fallen over the one step in a bungalow?
She was like, who falls down the stairs in a bungalow?
I've never known anyone like it. I literally tell everyone that story as well. And I wasn't like, are you all right? I was like, ah!
Yeah.
I'm that friend though.
So
someone
bad.
falls and instead of being like, are you okay? I'm like,
oh my God, on New Year's Eve, we had everyone round for New Year's Eve, which by the way, Camilla was invited. I'm not the black cat friend. She was invited and she said no. Anyway, not that still bothered me. Kidding, it totally didn't. I know that was fine. You ought to please.
There weren't enough old people.
You're joking.
There wasn't enough.
People.
Shit. Why did I just say there weren't enough? Please edit that out, Calvin. Oh my God, there weren't enough old people. Oh my God, can I redo that? There wasn't enough old people. God, if anyone else did that, I'd be like, oh my God, because I'm like a stickler for, I'm like a wordsmith.
You are
I can't be a wordsmith saying there weren't
Yeah.
enough old people. It's the Blackburn in me. Anyway.
On New Year's Eve, I was walking. Basically, we were taking pictures by the Christmas tree, my dead Christmas tree, which everybody was saying was Nordic. So basically, I got a real Christmas tree for the first time in my life and obviously didn't get the instructions of how to take care of it. I didn't think it would be that complex. I just thought you put water in the pot and then it lived for 3 weeks. I didn't think, anyway, after about 2 weeks, I think because in our new house, the heating, there's a problem with the heating, right? And we don't know how to turn it off. So it's like a sauna 24/7. And the tree was just over the days and weeks, it was just like becoming more and more limp. And then one day I came down, it was like a corpse, like the Christmas tree corpse. And it was terrible. Anyway, on New Year's Eve, we just kept it up for the laugh because I couldn't be bothered to take it down. And it was a talking point, to be fair.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, the dead tree, whatever. My mum said it had a very Nordic vibe. I was like, oh, thanks for that. Anyway, we were taking pictures by the tree and one of our friends was like, oh, the lighting isn't great. And James was like, I can't believe James suggested this. He was like, why do you get the ring light from upstairs? And I was like, genius.
Wow.
Obviously, like made content, whatever. Great. So I brought the ring light down and in my excitement, I was running and my feet just went out from under me and the whole party downstairs, music stopped. I just went, all the way down.
I'm not even surprised.
But you know, there was like, I don't know, 25 people all looking and I just didn't want to cry because, you know, when it really hurt. And I was like, and my bottom lip was going, and I was like, and then James came over and he was like, do you want to cry? And I was like, yeah. But I was so embarrassed. I think it was embarrassment as
you
well.
are clumsy. But
very clumsy.
You're a self-aware clumsy person. There's nothing worse than when someone has a trait and they don't own it. If you were like, like sometimes, it's like, no, you fall all the time.
Well, just own it.
Yeah,
it's the Eminem effect. That's what I say to people.
What's that?
Because Eminem just owns his shit, doesn't he? In all his songs and stuff, he's just like, yeah, this is the way I am,
I was
blah,
thinking
blah, blah.
of Eminem as in the chocolates. There's two types of people.
No,
I'm like,
the rapper.
because, well, I don't listen to music really, do I? I'm a bit of a freak. I just listen to podcasts. I can't remember the last time I listened to music. What a morbid soul. I'm like, do I hear happiness in here? People are like, music is my life.
You try and encourage silence, don't you?
All the time. Oh, poor Sam. My
Sam.
boyfriend, literally, like he's playing music and I'm literally like, I'm the fun please. It makes me sound so boring. But I'm like, could you just turn that off? Like, should we not check in with ourselves and see how we're feeling? I'm like, how do you know how you're feeling if you're always blasting out music? And it's like, and I'm like, come on, let's just have a little silent moment.
No, it's important. On the morning walk, I don't take a podcast or a book or anything.
Yeah.
I just I think sometimes we just consume all the time, don't we?
Exactly.
Social media, like books, podcasts, whatever you listen to. And it's just constant. So I think having a bit of silence in the morning, you need to get to know what you're actually thinking instead of just consuming all the time.
100%, because literally, like, think about it. The phone, for example, has been made by Silicon Valley entrepreneurs to just be a complete time vampire. Before you even know it, I always say that this is a really good, like, way to check in with yourself. Like, in the morning, have you consciously picked up your phone, or have you got your phone in your hand without even realizing how it's got there? Because if you're the latter, then there is a bit of a problem going on. Because if you're constantly on it, like, when it's like, oh, I spent the afternoon on my own. Technically, if you're on your phone, you're not on your own, because you're literally just swamped with other people and their opinions that you don't actually have a chance to think, how am I and what are my opinions on this topic? Otherwise, you're just living in an echo chamber. So that is like a massive piece of advice from the back of this conversation and this podcast. Like, make sure that you're being intentional with how your phone gets in your hands, because that is the biggest game changer for me. Don't go on it past 9 p.m. and try not to go on it first thing in the morning. Do something for you first, even if it's like brushing your teeth. I just actually remembered as well, nobody knows how the hell we know each other. So we need to just like wrap up on that, really.
I feel like we do. Wait,
most
before we
people
do,
do
I
that
have to say, just on the phone topic.
Oh, yeah.
Have you got Opal?
Opal? No, I've got Forest.
It's an amazing social media blocking app.
Great.
And I got it about 2 years ago, and it tracks how much time it saved you. From blocking your apps.
Great.
And I can't remember what mine is, but it's incredible. Yeah, Opal, OPAL. And you can set it on a timer. So mine's from 8 till 8. Great. So it goes off at 8 p.m. and I'm only allowed back on social media at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't believe when you first get it how automatically, without thinking, you just go to your apps and then it says blocked. And you're like, oh God, oh wow, I didn't even realise that I was about to go on Instagram. It's so subconscious, which just shows how it's a slippery slope, isn't it? Like 100%. For how much time, just doom scrolling and stuff. But anyway, back to how we met.
Yes, so we actually met. I always round it up when people ask how long we've been friends for.
Well, yeah, because last year you were like, I'm not saying that number because we have a deeper connection than what the years say.
I don't even want to say on the podcast.
So we don't even want to say the years. No, we need to say the years.
We need to say the years for context.
Is that 3 years?
No, it's 4. It's been 4
sorry.
for ages. God, it's been 4 for at least 2 years. So now it's 6 years. No, it is 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
Because
it was when... Oh, sorry.
We always like try and do something to celebrate the friendversary, because you should celebrate things other than anniversaries, baby showers, etc., etc. We met because I was working with a client, and it was a non-alcoholic spirit brand called Colenio, and I worked with this amazing company for, I think it was like a year in the end, and honestly, such an amazing business, female owned, which I loved, and we were actually implementing a strategy, an influencer strategy. And Katie was someone that when I was stalking the sober and sober curious space, she came up. So we were like Instagram friends, weren't we, for a bit? But I actually invited her to a load of like activations for the brand, one of which involved a double-decker bus coming through Manchester, London, Bristol, Birmingham. We did basically a tour for dry January. This poor girl, like, aka Katie, was like, I asked her to do something. Next thing you know, she's literally on board a double-decker bus going through Manchester, and it's like, honk if you're doing dry Jan. And I bet she thought she was just coming to a nice little brunch. No,
it was funny because you were like, oh yeah, we're just doing this, we're gonna get this double-decker bus, whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, cool, like, yes man, just saying yes to everything, because why not? So I was like, oh, this would be funny. And I knew we kind of got along because of the previous event in London that we'd been at together. And so I was like, oh yeah, like, high vibe, I'll definitely go. And then it's like, down the road, and I was like, what, could you pick me up from my house in like this little town? And it was like this massive bus, and then you were just like, yoo-hoo, out the side of the thing. I know. And then I got on the bus, and then I don't know what, I can't remember what I was expecting to be doing, but next minute I'm like cold calling, knocking on people's doors, being like, hey, are you doing dry January? And you were like,
we were getting our money's worth.
Literally, she was like working me to the bone.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I remember coming back, and you were like, really impressed by like how good you were at that, to be honest, because I didn't expect you.
were
I'm like,
excellent, but
it's the recruiter in me.
Yeah,
I was a recruiter for 6 years.
But you were like, oh, where shall we meet? I was like, honey, we're picking you up.
VIP,
this is
baby.
literally door-to-door service. The
It's
poor
like a
bus driver's trying to reverse on the world's
he doesn't know he's being
road.
a chauffeur for the day.
Exactly.
Honestly,
yeah,
that was hilarious.
To the club. Jokes. Everyone doesn't drink.
Honestly, it was quite funny actually, because I don't know what you expect when you do things like that, you know, like cold calling stuff. But people were just so confused, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like, and because we're quite quite high energy, we were like, "Are you doing dry January?" And they were like, "No, I'm not." We were like, "Okay,
yeah, cool. To the next.
Enjoy."
Yeah. Oh, that was just. But then it seemed to
funny.
go from 0 to 1,000. Like once we'd gone through that bonding experience, it was like, right, okay, let's do loads of things together.
Yeah.
And we have we go to cabins together, which is just my ideal notion of fun. And you're the same.
Yeah.
Like we've
wholesome
been to
activities.
cabins. We've been on long walks. I feel like you get friends sometimes that are for certain scenarios, like a walking friend, a coffee friend, a work friend, but we're actually the friends that you could put in every...
Yeah, I mean, we've co-worked together for years.
Yeah.
We've done loads of, obviously, that type of thing, actually work together. I've come to you for your masterclasses and work together in that front as well. So I feel like we're really lucky like that, actually, because I feel like there's only a small amount of people that you would be able to... There's a certain type of person that you can have almost like an all-rounder. Like I would, work with you, I'd go on holiday with you. I feel like that's really special, actually.
What's one thing you wouldn't do with me?
Ooh.
Well, you probably wouldn't count on me
No, I'll tell you what I wouldn't do. Okay. I probably wouldn't break down crying in front of you, because I feel like, remember,
really?
because once, I can't remember when it was.
Oh my God,
I wasn't crying or anything.
Okay.
But you said to me once, you were like, oh, I can't deal with crying. If people cry, I'm just I don't know what to do. You were really awkward about it. Is that not the truth anymore?
No, I feel like I'm quite good.
Well, that's a massive self-development thing, because you told me that when we first met, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because I cry all the time. Well, not all the time, but I am an emotional, sensitive gal.
That's why I laugh at your jokes extra hard. Jokes.
But no, I remember thinking, oh, right, well, best not have a meltdown in front of Camilla then.
Really? Gosh.
But actually, that's true, because that's a funny thing to notice, because when we first met, I think you have softened in our friendship.
I agree.
So actually, this is quite an interesting conversation, because now I'm reflecting on it, I actually probably would now. But I'm thinking about back then, when you were living in Manchester.
Yeah. Oh
and
my God,
you were in that sort of
you
were very, I think you've softened a lot. Would you agree with that?
100,000,000%.
Because you were like, just said when I said I would.
But I think I'm a real softie now.
Yeah.
Whereas I definitely used to be a lot more hardcore, if you've had a bad day, get over it type thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I reckon I probably said that 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. Now I'm sit with your feelings, feel your feelings, and a problem shared is a problem halved.
Do you think therapy's helped you with that?
Therapy, massively. I cannot tell you. I think it was actually a defense mechanism, the hard exterior.
Yeah.
And man like Tony has helped defrost the ice queen, because I was frosty when it came to relationships, but also more. I've never been a frosty friend, but I definitely think I was more just not as sympathetic. Whereas now I definitely am.
Okay, well, this is good to know. So now you'll regret saying that, because you'll be getting a breakdown a week.
Christ, yeah.
Go on. What would you not do with me?
What wouldn't I do with you? Probably something that required something where you'd be really clumsy, and I'd probably not build a gingerbread man at Christmas, or go and do something that needs someone that's got a steady hand, or isn't
or spatial awareness.
You'd knock over the fucker. We'd go and do some kind of crafts thing. I would just
some neurological problem. I don't know.
I'm gonna feel like a bitch, aren't I? If I'm literally well, I wouldn't go and build gingerbread houses with you. I probably wouldn't do that anyway, because I'm not personally very arts and crafts. But this is actually really good to wrap up the fact that we actually met when we were 25, 26. And just to end the episode, I feel like it's a good reminder to people and listeners that you meet friends later at life. We were 25, 26-year-old friends, and we're going to be forever friends. We didn't grow up together. We didn't go to uni together.
Yeah.
And I think people have got it in their heads that, that adult friendship, when your prefrontal cortex is developed post 25, like it's not going to happen for you. Like I found a forever friend when I was 25, 26. So if you're listening, and even if you're older than that, there's always someone that has the capabilities of being your forever friend. Like
and
you
actually,
just gotta,
that's because you've started doing the self-development work. Because you meet people when you get to know yourself and develop yourself and become more aligned, you very quickly meet people that are aligned with you rather than aligned to a version that you used to be.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, when you do go on this journey, and whether it's your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever time is right for you to start looking inwards and developing yourself, it's very scary because it's uncertain and you might lose people along the way. But, keeping true to yourself, I feel, is the best way, because you will always prevail, because you will always meet people that are aligned, and that's what we've done.
Absolutely.
We're very lucky, aren't we?
And I
Very
love
blessed.
that. So yeah, just a little reminder, guys, that if you haven't found your people yet, you are going to be fine. They are going to find you once you start doing the work and going to places that people like-minded to you might go. So putting yourself out there.
Definitely.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.